Today we're checking out these front upper control arms for a 2 to 4 inch lift in black for the 2004 to 2020 F-150s, but excluding the Raptor. Designed for trucks with that 2 to 4 inch lift range, this arm pair restores proper geometry while delivering better handling and longevity. These arms are engineered to correct the front end alignment issues that happen when you lift up your F-150. Stock upper control arms often run on steep angles post-lift, causing binding, uneven tire wear, and compromised steering feel. These replacement arms, however, feature a corrected ball joint angle optimized for that 2 to 4 inch lift range, bringing back suspension smoothness and predictable handling even when corners get tight or surfaces get rough and uneven. Their tubular design combined with durable materials and reliable bushings translates to stable control and responsive steering on both the street and off-road. These are built from robust carbon steel DOM tubing with a rugged black powder coat finish. These arms are both strong and corrosion resistant at the same time. The ball joints come pre-greased to reduce wear and extend the life. This construction balances durability, performance, and easy maintenance. As far as the pricing goes on this, it's coming in right in the upper $200 price range for the pair of both arms. It's a fair value for parts that restore handling integrity and protect your suspension geometry long term. When it comes to the installation, this is getting rated a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and you can have these installed in 3 hours or less of your time if everything goes smooth. Now let's head on out to the shop, and they're going to give you a detailed walkthrough of exactly how this install process goes.
For this install, you're going to need an impact, various ratchets, a 21mm, an 18mm, a 16mm, and a 10mm wrench, an 8mm, a 10mm, an 18mm, a short 21mm, a long 21mm, and a 22mm socket. You're going to need a swivel extension, a clip tool, a brake caliper hanger, brake grease, grease gun, hammer, bungee cord, and a pry bar. All right, today we're going to be installing upper control arms on our 2016 F-150. Let's get into it. So first things first, we're going to take our ratchet with our 10mm on it, and we're going to loosen our brake line right here. And then we're going to go in and loosen the ABS line with an 8mm socket. So that was the 10mm for our brake line, and then I'm going to go in there with my 8mm socket and loosen the ABS line because we want to make sure those are out of the way. Once you're done, you just want to tuck them out of the way. Come on. Next up, we're going to be removing the clips for our ABS line and brake line. Next, we're going to be taking the brake caliper off of the car. You're going to have two 21mm bolts at the back. That's where you're going to want to bring your ratchet and your 21mm socket. Now once you have your caliper off, you're going to want to pull it. You might have to fight with it a little bit off of the car. You're going to take your caliper hanger and hang it up on the frame. After you remove your caliper, we're going to remove the rotor and set that aside. Now we're going to take off our outer tie rod end with a 21mm socket and our impact. Now one thing I would like to note is when you're loosening this, you do not want to loosen it all the way. You want to make sure that there are still some threads left with this bolt, and you'll see why. Like so. So what you guys might run into with this, and the reason why I mentioned that you want to leave this a little bit loose, is sometimes, or most of the time, the outer tie rod end will be stuck in here and you're going to have to beat it off really hard with a hammer. Now, in this case, it's already loose. So since we don't have to beat it with a hammer, we're just going to take the bolt off all the way, remove the tie rod off like that. Next, we're going to be taking off our upper ball joint, and we're going to be using our 21mm socket with an extension, a swivel extension on the end. Now, along with this, I do recommend loosening the bolt, not all the way, just towards the bottom, so there's a couple threads, just in case we have to beat this one off. Now, before we get this upper ball joint off of the knuckle, I would recommend taking a bungee cord, wrapping it around this, and hooking it to the frame, just so this thing's not falling all over out of the place and we can kind of predict where it's gonna go. Now that we've gotten our upper ball joint separated from the knuckle, you're gonna wanna loosen your bolt like this, by hand, lift it up. Might be a little bit tough, and push it out of the way like that. Next, we're gonna take our 18mm socket on an impact and loosen our lower 2 strut bolts. Next, we're gonna take our 18mm socket on our impact and we're gonna loosen the sway link. There's a 18mm bolt right there. Next, we're gonna take our 16mm ratcheting wrench and we're gonna loosen our 3 strut top bolts. Now, before we remove the strut, I do want to note that there are 3 washers on the top. I recommend taking a clip removal tool to lift these up, because I found that it's kind of hard to remove them without it. Next, we're going to take a pry bar, and what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pry at the bottom of the strut so that the studs clear the lower control arm. And while we're prying on this, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a firm grip on the strut so it doesn't come flying out at you. Like so. Next, you're gonna take an 18mm wrench and a 21mm wrench, and we're gonna remove this bolt on the upper control arm. After you're done with that, you can repeat the same process on the other side. Now, once you've uninstalled this side, you can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Next, we're going to be assembling our upper control arm. Now, before we get started, I do like to grease this part of the bushing so that it goes in easier. Now, once you have these greased, you're going to take the metal parts of the bushing, you're going to push them in there like that, and then slip it on like so. And you're going to take the other side, put it on here like that. And then you can repeat the process on the other side. Next, we're gonna take our 10mm wrench and our grease fitting, and we're gonna install it right here. Now, one thing I would like to mention before I tighten this down, you're gonna wanna try your best to get the fitting to sit like this when it's fully seated. That's number 1. Number 2, you do not wanna crank down on this because this will you'll rip the threads out and it'll break. Then you want to complete the process on the other side. Next, we're going to grease the fittings. So you're going to have a fitting here, and a fitting right here under this cover. Right here. And we're going to take our grease gun, hook them up to the fittings, do about 2 pumps on each grease fitting. Next, we're gonna go ahead and install our upper control arm. We're gonna take the bolts that we took off before, and we're gonna install it like so. Next, you're gonna take out your 21mm wrench and your 18mm wrench, and you're gonna tighten down both of these bolts. Now, one thing I would like to mention, you do not wanna crank on them too hard. You wanna make sure that they're just snug. And what we're trying to do here is we wanna make sure when we go install this to the knuckle, we wanna make sure that it's not flopping around. And we also wanna make sure that we're not fighting it. So we want it to be nice and solid in there. Next, you're gonna take your 21mm wrench and your 18mm wrench, and we're going to just snug these bolts. We don't wanna tighten them down just yet. Next, we're gonna be installing our strut. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you have that pry bar from earlier so we can push down on the lower control arm. Next, you're gonna wanna take your 16mm wrench, and we're going to be installing the top bolts on the strut top. Now remember, you should have 3 bolts and 3 washers. Next, we're gonna take our 18mm socket on our impact, and we're gonna install these 3 nuts at the bottom. The 2 at the bottom of the strut, and this on the sway link. Next, we're gonna remove the bungee cord and install the upper ball joint onto the knuckle. Next, I'm going to take my 22mm socket on my swivel extension on my impact and tighten down the upper ball joint. Next, we're going to install our outer tie rod end. You're going to need a 21mm socket, and we have this on our impact. Next, you're going to put your rotor on the car. Now, before we install the caliper, I recommend installing one of the lug nuts on the studs to make it a little bit easier to line up the caliper with the holes on the back. Next, we're going to reinstall our clips for the brake hose and the ABS line. Next, we're going to take our 10mm socket on our ratcheting wrench and install the brake line. Then we're going to take our 8mm socket on our wrench and we're going to tighten down the ABS line bracket. Now you're going to want to repeat the same process on the other side. And that about wraps up our review and install of the front upper control arms for a 2 to 4 inch lift in black for an 04 to 2020 F-150. Thank you for watching, and for all things F-150, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.